girl's foot slipped. The arm was accidentally cut. The next second. Yes, this girl is not a real person. She is the inflatable doll bought by this uncle. When she was first in this house, he would treat her like a real person, put her at the dining table and talk to her. Even though she was just a non-moving doll at that time, Uncle would tuck her in and kiss her goodbye before he went to work. He would take her to the park and let her lean on his shoulder. But suddenly one day, her hands and feet could move. She went to the window. She reached out and caught a few drops of rain. She whispered a few words out of her mouth. She walked stiffly to the mirror. She got dressed and walked outside. She followed the woman and imitated her behavior. She lined up behind the children. The world outside is so colorful. The world outside was so colorful that it exuded a deadly allure. That evening Nozomi walked into a video store. A handsome-looking man stood at the counter. Her eyes were illuminated by the light. Her eyes glowed differently under the light. Is this the legendary love at first sight? She saw the job posting behind Jack. So every day after the uncle left for work, Nozomi would come to work at the video store. Gradually, she fell in love with Jack. She went out to dinner with Jack. She saw a child celebrating his birthday. Jack told her that his family was helping him celebrate his birth. Nozomi's eyes were filled with envy. When she got home, she found her own box. On the box, it said old air doll, on sale for a few $100s. Nozomi realized that she was just a cheap old tool, but she still had illusions because she felt that Jack was different to her. The day Nozomi and Jack decorated the store together, she slipped. Her wrist was cut by a nail. She fell down and her cut hand did not bleed. It just turned back into plastic. When Jack came to hear the noise, he saw Nozomi deflated in front of his eyes. The air was rapidly escaping from her body. Girl was out of breath. Her body dried up little by little. The man tried to help, but the girl stopped him. She looked at Jack with desperate eyes, letting the air spill out of her body quickly. Jack rushed to the front desk and ripped off the tape. He taped the lacerated arm and then helped Nozomi blow air. Yes, she was actually an inflatable doll, bought by an older man, but now she had a heart. She's taken on a human form. Only the stitches on her body that won't go away can tell the difference. She's also in love with Jack. She was afraid that Jack would dislike her when he found out she was an air doll. To her surprise, Jack said that I was the same as you. Nozomi was surprised. She thought that Jack was also an air doll. She wondered why she fell in love with Jack the first time she saw her. It turns out that they are the same kind of person. Nozomi, who had a boyfriend, more and more disliked the uncle who bought her home. She went to a beauty store, let someone use concealer to cover up the stitches on her body, bought new clothes and threw away the inflatable pump, started dating Jack, wearing a helmet and sitting behind Jack to feel the power of the wind, lean on your beloved when watching a movie, spinning in circles when she was happy. She is living more and more like a real human being. Every day was full and happy, but one day at Jack's house, Nozomi, she accidentally found a picture of Jack and his ex-girlfriend. She felt heartache for the first time, standing on the bridge. She knew for the first time that having a heart was so painful. Back at Uncle's house, she hid in the closet, listening to the sound of her uncle searching for her. She seemed to be able to feel that she still had a little bit of importance. Maybe that's the only way she wouldn't feel so empty. But within a few days, she heard the uncle calling her name. He was happily singing birthday song. She went upstairs to see. Uncle bought a new Hermano. Even the name used is exactly the same as hers. The air dolls bought back turned out to be real people standing in front of. The uncle was not only unhappy but also shocked. Nozomi questioned the uncle. Why did he buy a new doll and the same name as her? It turns out that this name is the name of the uncle's ex-girlfriend. They are also just a cheap substitute. The uncle was very angry. He told her to change back quickly because what he needs is a tool to be manipulated, not a person with feelings and a heart. Realizing that she was nothing, Nozomi rushed out of the house in despair. She finds the man who created her. She asked the man why she had a heart. The creator just said that maybe God didn't think when he created human beings that the human beings he created would have hearts. Since things are already like this, why not live in the present? Don't stay in pain. Just find something that makes you happy. Nozomi seemed to understand something. She found Jack. It was the only person she thought still loved her and would bring her joy and happiness. She was too afraid of losing it. Seeing Jack, she said she would do anything for Jack. Jack hesitated and finally offered the one thing, what only Nozomi could do for her. She wanted to let the air out of Nozomi's body and blow it back in, because he was curious about what it would be like to let the air out of her body and blow it in again. What would it feel like? Nozomi didn't understand, but looking at Jack's sincere face, she accepted the request anyway. She thought this was the way to love someone. So she went into the kitchen, grabbed a knife and duct tape. Maybe she'll never understand why there was no blowhole in Jack's body. Why she couldn't get her own air into Jack's body. She put Jack in a bag and threw him in the trash. For the first time, her eyes got wet. She removed the tape from her wrist. Jack's breath was coming out of his wrist. She took a deep breath, as if Jack was still with her. She closed her eyes. She had a long dream. In the dream, she was having dinner with Jack. The light suddenly went out. Everyone sang a birthday song for her. Uncle came out with a birthday cake to celebrate her birth. She was so moved that she shed tears. With everyone's blessing, she blew out the candles.